I am from Sofia, so we are very close. I often come to visit Greece, and thank you for visiting me now. Before we start, let me just tell you 2 words about myself. I've been in marketing for many years, although I did work in several areas like SEO and affiliate marketing and copywriting, as I'm sure most of us do, because you're never just one thing. And so through all these years, I've moved through different careers, different job positions, and then in 2016, by accident, because we always have to read the news, right? We have to stay updated. I came into find the blog of HubSpot. You guys use HubSpot? How many of you use HubSpot? Like, wow. How many of you have heard of inbound marketing before? Wow, quite a few. Kind of scared. Okay. So, I did find the HubSpot blog, which was talking about inbound marketing and how you can, make a huge difference in how you do marketing online. And then I started reading it. Then I got certified by them. They have this free program. If you haven't visited them, I would encourage you to visit their academy. You just type HubSpot Academy. They're not paying me. I just like them. So just type in HubSpot Academy, and they have courses about content marketing and inbound marketing and email marketing and anything. So it will be useful for you. So anyway, I got certified in the last couple of years. I used this, so I've seen the results. We are going to look at some of them today. And I'm just going to share, what I've seen and what I've learned. So we are going to cover a bit of, basic things, but again, if you like it, if I manage to convince you that we can make difference with this marketing approach, just go type, in Google. You can go to HubSpot, but of course, there are many other sources where you can learn this information. Okay, so this is a screenshot from a website called LiveStats, and this is actually, it's taken like a couple of weeks ago. It's the number of websites live today. So as you can see, we are approaching 2 billion websites live. This does not include every website that died once, so it's just what we have today. And of course, it's kind of, it makes our job quite difficult because we need to get that user attention, right? And we are competing with a lot of, other guys. So it's 2 billion websites, and you need to market your client or yourself. So how do we do that? We can do it, of course, the traditional way, because marketing have existed for many, many years. I actually was doing research once, and I discovered that there was a magazine in the 1700s doing marketing. It was called Gentleman's something, so it's not a new concept. But what we call traditional marketing or outbound marketing is, of course, something that we've all experienced as we grew up. That's TV ads, that would be print advertising, billboards. In digital space, these are the display ads, the ads in social media, and so on and so forth. So the typical approach here is they out broadcast the message to many, many people, and they hope that some of us will buy whatever they sell. It's okay. It works sometimes, but it's different from what we are here to learn today about, and this is the inbound marketing, which usually the main difference is it's very customer-centric, which means that revolves around our customers, okay? And it's very targeted. So we don't just, launch a TV ad and hope that in 10 million views, 100 of them will buy whatever we sell. We want to find the right segment and then market to it, right? And of course, the way we do that, it's not just by advertising ourselves, although sometimes, of course, pay-per-click is also used in inbound marketing. You can advertise, for example, your content, as people often do. But what we do here is we try to educate our customers. We try to give them something useful, actually useful, and not just pull out content for the sake of SEO. So this is how we can differentiate the two types of marketings, of course, and see that the inbound way is much more useful, even for the guys we are trying to sell to, right? So all of us that are marketing are also consumers. We buy stuff, we buy shoes, we buy phones, we buy, you know, we don't want to buy like crap. We want to buy nice things that are useful for us. And whenever we got educated about something, we tend to build a connection with this brand. We tend to, you know, believe that they have our best interest in mind, right? So this is a statistic pulled out from the site Iron Paper. And as you can see, small businesses, small to medium, are huge fans of this approach. So over 84% of small businesses, this means like companies with a size of up to 25 people are using it. This is statistic from last year, so it might have grown, okay? But my point is, within the space of small and medium businesses, it's very popular because, as I said, first of all, you're creating something useful, you are being of use to your customer, and also it's very cost effective. So I don't know if you heard about it, but you know, we all know that SEO ROI is very high, and also the social media one, but okay, not for me. Here is the same thing. I mean, we do get a very high return of investment. So corporate, big companies and all corporate thing, it's not so fast, but as you can see, they also are catching up. Although they are very conservative, we have like 50% of them using already the inbound marketing because they understand the importance of having a communication with their clients. And this is a survey taken last year by HubSpot as well, where they asked around, I think it was about 5,000 people, so it's a pretty, you know, significant number. And as we can see from it, over 90% of people who did use the method reported increase in leads, and around 40%, so it's almost half of them, they doubled the leads. So it's a good stat. And also, this is from the same survey. We can see that number 1 and number 2 factors that people attributed their success to is SEO and blogging. Of course, they kind of overlap, but I mean, we do see here the components that make the inbound marketing what it is. So my title of the talk was that we are going to revolutionize our presence, and we can do that, definitely. I mean, with the numbers I just showed you, you can see that we can create a major difference for ourselves next year. And also we can do that by making the internet space something better, something useful for everybody. So we are going to touch upon the, you know, as I said, we don't have much time, but we are going to touch upon the basic stuff that constitutes inbound marketing. And then, of course, if you're interested, you can research more, and you can also talk to me in any way you like. And these are some essentials for the inbound marketing. These are buyer personas, which probably you've heard, like customers personas, buyer journey, and content marketing. I forgot to add here data analysis, which I think it's also a very crucial part. You know, we need to see if what we do is working. So we will consider it added and maybe just touch it. Okay, if you have seen before the screenshots, the visual representation of what inbound marketing constitutes, it was a bit different, okay? So a couple of years ago, when I first saw the HubSpot thing, it was linear like this, right? Anybody saw it? It had 4 sections, and it was like a track, convert, close, delete. And it was linear. And I'm saying this because this year I had to get recertified. They update their course every year. And when I did that, I see that the visual representation of what inbound marketing constitutes has changed because they understood that the linear thing was not adequate. Why? Because it ended. The moment you delight your customer, although you hope, you know, that he's going to say something good for you, it ended. And here we have the new model that they call the flywheel, because they realized how connected the last stage is with the first one. Firstly, because of the customer itself, he's going to probably buy whatever, you know, you can sell him more. And secondly, because word of mouth marketing is something that we cannot achieve with nothing less than good product and perfect customer service. And as you can see in their wheel, they have the different teams. Now I know that a lot of us are quite small yet, so we don't have like all these teams, but you can understand which part of the face, which part of the ideology belongs. I'm sorry for that. It's just whenever I get too close, I'm kind of loud. But my point is, marketing team usually will cover attract and engage phase. Okay, so this is mostly for us. And of course, if you're a small company, you're going to make the sales team and the customer team. But if you're not, or if you're planning to grow one day, this is where you're going to head. There is going to be some separation. So before I move forward, I wanted to briefly tell you what I believe, what I've come to believe that inbound marketing mostly is, and that is communication. I mean, I know it sounds a bit shabby, but the truth is that we see this every day. Social media makes communication with brands something that we experience ourselves. So inbound marketing in its core, it's a good communication with our clients. And we need to make it, you know, awesome for them. Last year when I was speaking at the WordCamp Sofia about this, I was talking about Del Hell. I don't know if any of you guys ever heard about Del Hell. It was a huge thing in 2005 when a journalist from, I think he was from Independent, and he bought this laptop from Dell, and it didn't work, and he couldn't make it through the customer support. So because he was a journalist, he made a huge deal out of it. So the brand almost collapsed under the you know, lot of negative comment that came up. I'm telling you this because I realized that last year that was something to explain, that was something that was almost extraordinary, but today we need to realize that any customer can do this to us. So he doesn't have to be a journalist from, you know, Independent. Anybody who is not happy with you and he, you know, feel, I don't know, if you're not authentic, if you're not good, if you're not providing a service that deserves to be paid for, you can get this problem. So communicating with your customers, even when they're unhappy, it's very important. This is the only way you can fix it. So let's go to the first basic. This is the buyer personas or customer personas. They are not a new concept. I mean, segmentation has been used in marketing for many years, but the difference here is that it's a bit more specific, first of all. Second of all, it's a semi-fictional, which means that you are going to use some data about it, hopefully a lot of data, and you are also in some cases going to make an assumption. It shouldn't happen, but it does, especially if you're going to have a new business, okay? So you're not going to have maybe enough data for your own customers. You're going to borrow data from, you know, general places, let's call it that. So the fictional part may be there for a while, so you're not going to escape 100% from it, but still, it should be mostly based on data, okay? So we have a couple of things that are important. Who is our buyer persona? So let's say that you're, I don't know, you're selling shoes, okay? You're selling canvas shoes. I love canvas shoes, by the way. I mean, Converse exists probably because of me in Bulgaria. So let's say that you're selling canvas shoes. You're going to see who your target customers are, okay? So based on of your data or assumptions, let's say, you're going to see that most likely they're between 20 and 35 years old, maybe 40 in some cases, because, you know, IT industry just changes a lot. Then you're going to see who they work for. Again, this is important because in different industries, you're going to have different influences. This is a cultural thing, but we cannot ignore it, okay? The goals are, of course, with the case of shoes, it's a bit, of course, ridiculous, but still, I can have goals, and for example, my goals are maybe to be casual, but still look okay, so. And also maybe I want to be comfortable and not have pain in my feet. So this is a very relatable goal for all girls here. And the challenges are that maybe I don't know if the number, if I order a shoe online, if it's going to fit me. By the way, that's a real problem with Converse and Nike. They have some mismatched numbers. So yeah, you need to, these are very important, especially the goals and the challenges, because you're going to market yourself based mostly on that. Then the watering holes mean that you're going to search where you're going to find your buyer person and how you're going to communicate with them. And of course, the shopping preferences. Now we have this example of a persona, RV Betty. She's quite classy, right? She has probably a very nice RV, or maybe not yet. But what we do know, based on the information that we researched for her, is that she have an expendable income. So we know she's a senior. We know she has some money. She's probably at the stage of her life that she's like to be a bit more comfortable. So she doesn't mind spending the money whenever it's worth, right? This is an assumption, by the way. The thing with the expendable income could be a database thing. The assumption here is that whenever you get a bit older, you just want to be more comfortable. So if I see her watering holes, I can see that she does use Facebook, for example, but she uses it only to communicate with her, I don't know, grandchildren, family, immediate family. So the question here is that I want to market to her an RV, and it's going to be an expensive one probably, a luxury one that is going to offer her the comfort she needs, but I'm not going to do it via Facebook, because my data research shows that it's not the place, although this is what probably we in Bulgaria will do, because Facebook is the biggest network. I don't know here in Greece, but for us it's like the almost only social network. So I'm going to probably base again on the data. We can see the watering holes, that either I can pay some Google AdWords for her, or I can also buy some display ads on website and magazines. But this is very important, because you are going to save yourself a lot of money if you know where and who to you can market, okay? It's a small, of course, you maybe won't know it right away, but you need to find it, because it's going to cost you money otherwise. This is another example of a buyer persona, which is made with a HubSpot free tool, makemypersona.com. You can write it down. This is going to help you if you want to do that. So it's basically the same thing, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but you can see again we have the very specific thing that we need. Who are these people? Who is this person? It's WordPress Alice. She's working for this and this company, she can be found in this place, and so on and so forth. So this is the tool that can help you do your research. Okay, so an example of an ad directed at a specific buyer person is this awesome, absolutely awesome ad from Patagonia. I don't know if you ever heard about Patagonia. They're very expensive, but their founder, Yvon Chouinard, he's a very keen environmentalist. So he started working on the products of Patagonia a long time ago. I think in the 70s was founded the company, and he didn't just sell products, he had a mission. He was very mission driven. So the customers who buy Patagonia will actually spend a lot of money. I can't tell you right now, but I think the jacket will probably cost you a couple of $100, like maybe $300-400. Or maybe less, but the point is that this is a product that has been marketed specifically to the people who are going to buy it, okay? Or not buy it in this case, but it's based very scientifically on their buyer persona. This was run in 2011 in New York Times, just before Black Friday. So they wanted to encourage, Patagonia and Yvon wanted to encourage less consumerism, and by delivering this message, they assured their customer loyalty. So you can be sure that the next time somebody wanted to buy a jacket, they went to them. Even if they said, don't buy this jacket, they bought it. So next thing that's important, this is the buyer journey, of course. We have the profile of our customer, which is the persona, but we also need to know what exactly journey happens before he buy our product, okay? So it's not a very complicated one. As you can see, it has 3 stages. The awareness, where we don't know what exactly are we looking for yet, or what our pain point is. So we start researching. Actually, the research comes in the second part, but we are aware that we have a problem, right? Or a desire. Then we have the consideration stage, where we research possible solutions or products, whatever we need. And then we have the decision stage, which serves us to buy the service or the product we desire. I think probably most of us, if not everybody, has experienced that, because at some point in your life, you had a desire or a problem that you didn't know what it is. I was talking about this, I think, a couple of months ago, or maybe last year, when I was referring to my my problem with the background, which I didn't know what the name of this background was, and it was, you know, the bokeh effect. You know, that became very, very trendy. It's very blurry now. Almost all the modern smartphones have this portrait mode where the background is a bit blurry. But at the time, I didn't know what it is. So I was doing a research. And then, by the way, this is a perfect example of a journey. I did buy a phone, which is, we're not going to say it because they have to pay. But I did buy a phone that eventually had the option for doing this background. So this is a very good example of my buyer journey. Now, if you are using the marketing funnel, you can see that they are very closely related. The HubSpot, this is again a screenshot from HubSpot, call this the marketing machine because you have the buyer journey, so the stages we just reviewed. And then also you have the marketing funnel, where bigger companies, but also we can use it ourselves, even the small companies, because they have marketing team and sales team. Usually, right in the middle, you have marketing qualified team and sales qualified team. Not team. But we can use it as well, okay? So we don't have to separate the way they do between teams, but we can use the marketing machine to understand what the journey is and where at the funnel is. It's not the same thing, but it works coherently. And also, when we are creating content, which is what we mostly do in inbound marketing, right? Because we want to attract people with content. And when I say content, I mean any type of content, of course. We need to understand not only who they are, but of course, where they are. So for example, let's go back to my journey with the phone. If I didn't know what was this effect called with the blur of background, I wouldn't have been able to identify this feature in the phone that I was buying, right? So even if they showed me in an ad or a content piece, let's say a blog article, that this phone had the feature, I wouldn't have known that this is the feature I need. So you need to make, I'm sorry, by the way, it's very blurred. We couldn't fix it, I mean. But if you just type in Google, content type to buyer journey, you'll probably get a better quality picture. So you need to know where your customer is in order to offer them the right piece of content. And as you can see, probably, I don't know, you can't see very much, but let's say that they're in the awareness stage. There are specific things, specific type and format of content that you're probably they're going to find useful, like ebooks or white papers, or And then, for example, in the latest stage, which is the decision stage, they're going to find a completely different type of format. And this is very important, because again, if you create a piece of content which is not for the right person at the right time, you're going to lose money. So you need to identify these things. So let's say that you are going for the you have your buyer persona at the late stage, and you offer them a webinar. That's something perfect. By the way, webinar converts very well. So they're one of the highest conversion tools. either product or a general one, doesn't matter, but they do convert very well. And if you offer them some sort of blog content article that is, you know, very basic, you are probably not going to convert them. You're probably going to make them leave. So, as I said, it's very important to connect the two things. Next point, this is the content marketing. I don't believe I have to explain what it is, because obviously we all do it, but still, this is sort of a nice, okay, sorry, I got signal that we have very not enough time left, but so let's just skip through it. Okay, content marketing. As I said, we all know what it is. This is what I would very much suggest for you to find. It was an infographic at the beginning, so it has been cut in order to fit the screen. But if you are using marketing calendars and content calendars in general, and you should be, okay, this is what is going to make your life easier next year. So, because when we say content, usually people either think of blogs or videos, but as you can see, the list is very long, and you are going to find this very useful. Also, based on the statistics I was going to show, this is from the site True Conversion. As you can see, whether you have a marketing agency or you market yourself, so your own product, 70% of the businesses still don't have any CTA. Don't do that. Just create a CTA, okay, guys? You need to lead the client, the customer, whenever you want him to go. So use the CTAs, or you're going to get just horrible conversion rates. This is a very good example, by the way, because this is, again, a HubSpot page, of course. I clicked on a CTA, I got converted, they sent me whatever I wanted, and then on their page, on the thank you page, they also had another conversion options. So this is very smart. It's like double CTA. This is another thing that I would suggest for you to maybe take a picture or just write it down. Just research the distribution channels. This is something that gets very much overlooked, and you need to not only create the product, the content, but also distribute it. I don't know why people just, miss on that. I mean, who are you creating this content for, right? Okay, we don't have time for this, but I wanted to tell you a quick story before we go. This is truck from Taco Bell, which sadly we don't have, I think, in the Balkans at all. I love Doritos. And anyway, my point is, what they did here, it was such a smart and complex marketing move. I'm still started. This was way back in the years, maybe 2012 or 13, and there was a hoax in one Alaska city, Bethel, that there was going to be open Taco Bell. And it was a hoax, as I said, didn't happen. It was a false information. So Taco Bell, which are, by the way, very funny on Twitter, you should just check the account if you haven't seen them, they decided that they're going to deliver a truck with a helicopter full of 10,000 tacos, okay? So it was a move that built them like thousands of followers on both social medias, and of course, a huge customer loyalty. And by the way, last year when I was checking, their shares were still going up, even though people are eating healthier, so they should be going down. And this is the last thing that I wanted to say. You need to be authentic. I mean, again, it sounds very shabby, but today's customers are very smart, and they have a lot of options, okay? So if you're going to sell them crap, they'll know, okay? If you tell them something untrue, they'll know, and they're going to find you and get you. Don't do that. Just have a mission, stay true to it, and you're going to succeed, probably. Thank you.